We're back for another 2019 SJPorr Challenge beer. This is round 2 and ID number 73G-RD2-N46. This is a raspberry Gose and it is 4.4% alcohol. You know I love me some sour beer, and you know I love Gose, so I'm pretty pumped about this. The beer looks pretty clear in the bottle, but I do see some sediment, so I'm going to be a little bit easy on the pour here and try to keep that out. As you can see behind me, this is where well, you would not assume, but this is where my wife teaches English as a second language online, so that is why the teacher Laura. All right, so it looks very carbonated. Looks like the head's not going to stick around, but a lot of that's per style. It is a beautiful red color. Oh, that's gorgeous. It is visually stunning. Left the last little bit in there, so we're going to put that to the side. Yeah, so like I expected, no head on it whatsoever. It is gone, but that's prevalent in the style. It does look very carbonated, and you can't quite appreciate the color of this beer because of the lighting in here. Sorry about that. But it is a really nice ruby red color. You can see a bunch of bubbles streaming up. Oh, it's very clear. It's not brilliantly clear, but it's really, really nice. So let's get an aroma. And it is raspberries right off the bat. It is kind of punchy in the face raspberry, but really nice fresh raspberry. A lot of times you get a little bit more of a medicinal kind of note, but this is very like fresh raspberries. After that, you get a hint of tartness on the nose. But at this point, I wouldn't be able to distinguish that from being fruit or like a lactobacillus-induced sour. Michelle's really nice, enticing. I'm going to jump on in. Ooh. I'm taking a couple sips because I really want my palate to adjust, especially with sour beer. I really like to give it probably 3 or 4 different sips before I really kind of make a conclusion on it. Because more than any beer style out there, to me, it takes a little bit longer for the palate to adjust from something you may have had earlier in the day, and just in general. So here we go. It does have a really nice high carbonation on it, like that in a Gose, straight up to style. First off, you really get a punch of that raspberry, but then it actually goes away relatively quickly. You get a punch of raspberry, a slight hint of tartness. It's really not that sour. I think I probably have a skewed palate. I do tend to like things more on the acidic side than not, but it's really not that tart. Now, Goses specifically aren't necessarily that sour in comparison to, use the words are hard. They're not as sour in comparison to some other styles, but I would have expected a little bit more tartness than this, but it's still present, it's just minor. And I'm surprised by how much coriander is there. Obviously, a Gose is supposed to have coriander, and I like it. But it's pretty heavy coriander. So you get the raspberry, and then it pretty much goes straight into the coriander, and that dominates the rest of the palate. So about 1/3 of the palate is raspberry, then 2/3 is pretty well dominated by coriander. It's not my favorite thing in the world. While I like the coriander to be present, I don't like it to kind of dominate it. And then I'm not getting a lot of salinity on it. And again, kind of on the same page with the sour. It's light. It's very light. It's there. It's present, but it's on the light side. All of this to say, I think nowadays we get kind of skewed towards the crazy and the heavy-handed flavors. So even one that I do is like a raspberry lemon or a raspberry sumac Gose, where those flavors are really, really up front. They're punchy, and I put just tons of raspberry, tons of salt. It's really sour. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't over compensate for that, knowing that some of the stuff that I do and a lot of stuff on the market now is a little bit boisterous. So this is a good beer. The fermentation's spot on. It's really nice and clean. I always get nervous with homebrewed kettle sours that you're going to get some of those kind of butyric off flavors and some weird stuff going on, but this is not the case. Fermentation is really nice. There is that hint of lactic tartness, although I would have expected more from a Gose plus an acidic fruit like raspberries. So to me, it's a little disappointing. It's not as sour. And then I would have kind of reversed a little bit of the heavy-handedness between the coriander and then add a little bit more salt. But the beer is really nice. It tastes nice. The mouthfeel is really nice. It's clean. It's crisp. Excuse me. It's on the light end of the mouthfeel, and it finishes really, really clean. I'm going back to see if I can kind of drum up any other flavors, descriptors. This would be nice any day of the year, but especially during the summer. Ooh, groundbreaking analysis there. I really do. I don't think that I'm looking for a lot more raspberry here. I think the raspberry is really nice, and it actually is probably refreshing because it's not super punchy. If there wasn't as much coriander. That coriander almost comes up and battles that raspberry note and kind of takes it and runs with the coriander to where it could be better. It's still a good beer, but could be better with a little less coriander, but still a tasty beverage for sure. So cheers to the brewer. I'm gonna enjoy. I really will. So this sounded a little bit negative. I'm really gonna enjoy the rest of this beer, and but I'm gonna take off now and go score it. So again, this is ID number 73G-RD2-N46, a raspberry Gose. So cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.